Hey, have you ever noticed in your life some things begin to look dead? You've got to make room for more. It's time to deadhead and see new growth. Stay right here. We'll get right into it. So glad you joined me. I'm Amy and this is Stick with the Plan, and today I'm talking about deadhead. Make room for more. I have one of my favorite plants over here. This is my backyard in my garden, and it is a hardy hibiscus, and my nanny loved flowers, and she told me you need to get this plant. It'll bloom every year. And she said if you'll notice when it starts to die, when it gets like that seed head, if you'll pull that off and that old bloom that was on there, because they are gorgeous blooms. I mean, the size of a saucer, some of the prettiest blooms in your garden. And it's a low maintenance plant as well. And she said if you'll take those old seed heads, that old bloom, and you'll deadhead that plant, she said it'll stimulate the plant and it'll promote new growth and more blooms. Instead of just having one round of blooms, if you'll deadhead, if you'll pull off the old, it'll stimulate, make room, it'll cause that plant to say, hey, there's room. We have room to grow some more. We have room to bloom again. And I thought about what she said in those words, and as I was deadheading my plant over there, I heard the Holy Spirit saying, it's time for you to deadhead some things in your life. I'm trying to get new things to you, but as long as the old is in the way, there can't spring forth the new. And I thought, oh, that is so true. So, I want you to evaluate your life today, really throw those deadheads off of you, so you can think about what is it. What you might ask yourself: is there an old relationship that you're hanging on to? Are you carrying a dead branch of hurt around with you? Is it a past? Maybe you've been through a divorce, a hard time. You feel like all this hurt you're just carrying around, and the Holy Spirit's here today saying, hey, let's just deadhead that off. Let's just get that out of here. Let's throw that away. In John 15 chapter 2, Jesus says, now if there is a branch that's not bearing fruit, I will prune it. I will remove it. I'll get rid of it. And that branch that is bearing much fruit, he says, I will repeatedly prune it. And it will bear even more fruit, even richer in value and in content. Man, the Lord even has a better blooming season the second time around. You can bloom twice in the same season. When everyone else has stopped blooming, the Lord still has a blessing for you. I think, man, that is so good in our lives. How many times have you woken up in a bad mood and you just carry that yuck around with you all day? And if we would just learn to take it to the Lord, just prune me, get rid of what I don't need, my stinking thinking and attitude, just remove it, just get rid of it. I want to bear fruit today. I want to have joy. I want to attract the blessing. I want the goodness that God has for me. I don't want to hold on to the old blooms, the old blossoms. What happened yesterday, it's not good for today. It will allow the Lord to prune it, get rid of that. He's got brand new to spring forth. He wants you to bear much fruit when no one else is blooming. Look at, I was thinking about Isaac in Genesis 26:12. It says that in that year, this was a year of famine, this was a year of drought. It said that where he sowed in the land, that he had a harvest 100-fold return on the seed, on that grain. And he had to obey the Lord. I believe that was a pruning. He couldn't go by, it looked good, you should go to Egypt and you should plant. But the Lord said, no, you stay right here in this land. And he could have said, but Lord, there's a drought. I can't stay here. This is a famine. The Lord said, you plant right here. And if we'll listen to the Lord, that's a type of pruning. Don't go by your own understanding, but listen to the Lord. I believe He's got the increase for you. He's got the blessing. It will obey. We'll prune our own thinking out of the way and say, okay, yes, Lord, I'll go your way. He's going to get the harvest to you 100-fold. So here where he reaped, he got to see a magnitude harvest. He got to see the multiplication of the Lord. And that's exactly what God has for you and me. He doesn't want you stuck in the old blooms with dead branches hanging off and dead leaves. No, He's going to be the vine dresser. He's going to be the prune. He has a way to get rid of the old that'll spark new growth within your heart. It'll actually make your life more fun because, there's nothing more satisfying than being fruitful. In Psalms it says that the righteous will flourish. And I love that because we're righteous, we're in right standing. We should be bearing fruit all the time in any season that you're in. You're never too old. You're never past your prime when you're filled with the Holy Spirit. In every season, we've got to bloom. We've got fruit to produce. We've got more and more to see. So don't draw back in this season, think I've just been too hurt and you're just carrying around. You ever notice people that keep talking about what the hurts that happened to them previously? They can't have a new friend because they're talking about all the old ones that left them. No, prune that off of you. Expect the increase. Expect to bloom. Expect to have a 100-fold harvest. And that's how you'll stick with the plans He has for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I love hearing all that God is doing in your life. And thank you for sharing this. New friends get to watch this because you are sharing this video on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. If you're on Facebook, like this page. We'll have a brand new video for you next week. And remember, every Tuesday, we are live. I'll see you then.